Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So before I start this video, I just want to say that in Canada currently, there's like 8 or 9 fake halal mortgage companies and only 2 real halal financing companies. And between them, there is like only three halal financing processes that have been vetted and approved by specific Islamic financing scholars, right? Now, regrettably, I have to put this message in this video is that out of those 2 real authentic Islamic financing companies, one of the companies is basically starting to, and I'm not going to name drop right now, but it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about because, well, the one that's offering the Diminishing, Musharakah, and Murabaha products is not really talking smack, but the one that isn't is basically saying, oh, Diminishing, Musharakah, and Murabaha products, the way they're being done are, or at least specifically the Diminishing Musharakah, the way it's being done is not tax compliant, and that, you know, the guy is creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you're going to start talking smack about the Diminishing Musharakah process of Manzil, right, and you're going to start saying things like, without naming them, on your LinkedIn blog, you're going to start saying things like, Canadian Muslims better find out how it's tax compliant so they don't get a tax bill. We spent 18 months with our lawyers trying to verify if our process is if we could do Diminishing Musharakah, and they said, no, you can't because, you know, it's not tax compliant and whatnot. And that's another thing. So the only company offering Diminishing Musharakah, Manzil, was being associated with a company that collapsed in 2007 by another Islamic financing company that is authentic. Honestly, I feel like taking this video, sending it to one of their Sharia scholars, because this is just unbecoming, or I should say, like, I would expect better conduct from somebody who is actually in this cause in a credible and authentic way. And I want to see both companies succeed. So, you know, one company is not even attacking or doing anything, while the other company is basically mouthing off and spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt, making statements and claims without any proof. Here's the thing. Everyone has their own opinions in regards to the statements that they want to make or the opinion that they may have about a certain company. Bring the proof. You are entitled to your opinion, but bring the proof. Because when you're not bringing proof, you're creating uncertainty, fear, and tons of doubts in a space that's already suffered from, and it's actually already suffering from fake halal mortgage companies in general, which is what I spend my time heavily on this channel educating people about, and it's a global problem, right? But at the same time, you're creating such fear and uncertainty within the Muslims, you're not helping the cause when you're actually supposed to be helping the cause. So stop being a jackass, because that's what you're being, by spreading fear and doubt amongst the Muslims, especially the Muslim who is coming into the space and going like, you know what, I want a halal mortgage, and has absolutely no idea in regards to what is authentic out there and what isn't. So you're not helping the cause. What you're doing is you're causing a lot of confusion out there. But hey, you're entitled to your opinion. All I'm saying is bring proof, because if you won't, I'm going to start calling you out by name too. In fact, I'm going to drop your name anyways. My point is this. I don't want people making statements without evidence. It's just not cool. You guys deserve better. This video is not sponsored. I'm not directly or indirectly supporting anybody. I'm just saying, if you're going to make a statement that, oh, that Diminishing Musharakah is impossible to happen in Canada, or the simple Murabah, as the other guy like to put it, make statements, show evidence. If you say you got a lawyer's opinion, show it. If you're not going to bring your legal opinion that you spent 18 months working on, dude, stop spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way you're doing it, and let the other people do the same. What? Are you going to act like this when another competitor enters the market? Don't. It's very petty and small of you. If you're not going to provide proof, I ask everybody to immediately identify that person if you've seen this video, and let the community know what is happening. Anyways, let's get started with the rest of this video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Every halal mortgage case is different. Everyone has different needs and different requirements depending on their specific scenario. Sometimes I tell people not to get a certain halal mortgage because it won't be a good fit for them, or avoid certain companies altogether. Some of those reasons I'll be going over in this video, inshallah. So the question of which halal mortgage for you will become a lot more clearer as you watch this video till the end. I'll point out that the reasons I cover may not necessarily be applicable to you and your specific case, unless I tell you otherwise after knowing your specific circumstances. Wherever you may be at in the process of buying a home via Islamic financing in Canada, go ahead and contact me directly in the email appearing on your screen with your phone number, and we'll have a conversation regarding your case, inshallah. And if you're in Australia, UK, or USA, you may go ahead and do that. I just haven't really covered any of the Islamic financing companies out there. So I'll most likely just refer you to the Murabaha or the Diminishing Musharakah videos on my channel to hopefully help you guys out. Please help us grow this channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my future upcoming videos. Because many people have been waiting for the opportunity to purchase a home via real halal mortgage for a very, very long time. I think like the going record was 20 plus years that somebody didn't buy a house because they were not shown an authentic Islamic financing process that was available to them. May Allah reward you. Most people, they jump at the first chance to buy a home when they are convinced that an option may be halal, not knowing that if that mortgage is actually authentic, as in halal, or if it's just a fake halal mortgage, right? And let's say it is authentic. Well, is it a halal mortgage that is right and specific, that is specifically right for their case? I'm still going to put this in the video. Anyways, did you know that unlike an interest mortgage, which is basically a one-size-fits-all approach, the same is not the case when it comes to Islamic home financing options? Currently in Canada, there are 8 or 9 fake halal mortgage companies who fool Muslims by selling a regular interest mortgage at a higher price with the cooperation of your mosque's imams for real. And I'm not messing around that. Mosques are not the filters of haram like we essentially assume them to be. The same thing goes with the now halal financing companies as well, out of these 2 that I mentioned earlier. And which ones am I referring to? You can contact me. And I mentioned some of this in my live stream, but I took the live stream down because we're changing the way we do things on this channel. This channel is evolving. So, stay tuned. But if you really have a specific case regarding your Islamic financing needs, you can go ahead and contact me. And remember, this video is not sponsored, right? So I'm not beholden to any of the Islamic financing companies. I'm just going to tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them. Does their customer service suck, etc. The points that I'm going to go over in this video, inshallah. So there are only 2 real halal mortgage companies, and between them, 3 different halal mortgage options that have been approved by credible Islamic finance scholars for use. There's still a lot of confusion for the average Muslim just looking to buy a home via an authentic Islamic financing way. So before getting into a halal mortgage yourself, get super informed, guys, by going over the content on this channel. There's a lot there. Always talk to somebody knowledgeable who will tell you the truth in a very blunt and straightforward manner. A person who knows interest mortgages in and out, real estate, your fake halal mortgages that are out there. If your imam at your local mosque that you may be a fan of, if they're promoting a fake halal mortgage company, because honestly, the one who is really holding that imam at a great regard and expectations of, and then the fact that you respect them, wouldn't imagine that that person might be promoting a fake halal mortgage either unknowingly or knowingly, right? But that's exactly how these things get around. And the real halal mortgage options in your country that you may utilize that have been reviewed by credible Islamic financing scholars who specialize in this sort of stuff, not people who will just basically give a fatwa for a few dollars. Also, the differences between the real Islamic financing options like Diminishing, Musharakah, Murabaha, Ijara, and Tawarruk, which are all widely used in the Far East especially, and the Middle Eastern countries. Let's start with the expense problem of halal mortgages, and that's a very hot topic. It's always the first thing to basically pop up. Currently, all halal mortgage companies are private lenders in Canada especially, and mostly in the Western world. So they charge an administration fee most of the time, but so do certain fake halal mortgage companies pretending to be halal. So watch out for that. So yes, a halal mortgage option is going to be more expensive than your traditional interest financing, because Islamic financing is in its baby stages here in Canada or in most parts of the Western world. But alhamdulillah, we have one company cheaper than the other for now. And I hope that more Islamic financing companies come, they compete with each other, and then the affordability factor becomes a lot more, well, affordable for the rest of the Muslims out there that are seeking to get into this, and not just left for the super wealthy. Not that I'm saying that you need to be super wealthy to afford a halal mortgage, but I'm just saying that, the barrier to entry will become a lot easier, inshallah. And because you may be somebody who doesn't know this landscape very well, you may just see one company cheaper or expensive than the other, but you could end up in a fake halal mortgage. I mean, why the heck would you want to go spending all this effort, time, and getting into a halal mortgage when you think it's halal, but then you end up in something that's a traditional interest mortgage that you could kind of essentially get down the street from any bank? Or let's just say you got something authentic, but you only find out that there is another company that has a process that the scholars would prioritize more, is monetarily cheaper, and differentiates itself between interest versus halal mortgage. you'd feel like you got a bad deal because there was something better out there. So once again, like with everything else in life, talking to somebody that knows this landscape very well and can give you sound advice and give you a complete picture of what's going on is a great start for yourself. Now, if the added cost of a halal mortgage is too much right now, I'd just say wait it out as inshallah more Islamic financing companies enter this space, and you know, the competition finally kind of heats up between them, and inshallah the rates will come down. I know that when I did speak to the CEOs of both Islamic financing companies that are currently operating here in GTA, they're both actively trying to bring down their rates, and that's fantastic news for everybody. If the halal mortgage company is an authentic Islamic financing product, it will most likely involve a trade, money for assets, which can be a taxable event in your country, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted trade and forbidden interest, Surah Al-Baqarah number 275. So you're usually trading with money for, well, something else. So it is up to the Islamic financing companies to really clarify and be transparent about their halal mortgage processes in terms of tax compliance. They have to explain to you how their mortgage process is not going to suddenly hit you with an unexpected tax bill from the CRA or your country's tax agencies. Now, if someone, as in one of the competitors that I mentioned earlier, is claiming that, oh, such and so's company's process, like the diminishing Musharakah, is not tax compliant, please show evidence. You have every right to your own opinion, but don't just talk smack, making statements that promote fear and doubt in a space that's already got a lot of hesitancy due to the amount of bad history that it's had since 2007 and earlier days. So it's just not cool for you to be doing that when your process has been certified by real credible Islamic financing muftis. It's not befitting of you. So if you guys come across someone indirectly targeting people, right, just know not to work with that person, because it's just not cool. The last time I called a video or a section exposed, it was like I talked about the politicization of the mosques, and it really sucks that when you're trying to get a home financing that complies with Islam and it isn't haram nor a deception, you could end up being deceived into a fake halal mortgage through your imam and your mosque. I mean, these guys are supposed to be the filters of haram, right? What the hell are they doing giving their Friday khutbahs talking about the virtues of deen when they won't even verify before sending you somewhere or exposing you to something that is completely haram? That the whole point of why we respect these people is that they're calling you to the way of Allah. Well, do watch my video, Politicization of Mosques Exposed. It's very eye-opening, and do share it. Now, I want you to think of halal mortgage companies the exact same way. In fact, I would say more so, because the whole value of a halal mortgage company, the whole point of them existing, is that they are going to be a filter of haram for you when in the process of you buying a home, and that none of their services that they recommend that you use to get that halal mortgage is going to expose you to haram. Now, if there is any step of the process that you could be exposed to haram that is outside the control of the Islamic financing company, at the very least, they would tell you to avoid it if it's not under their control. Well, I gotta tell you that there's only 2 Islamic financing companies in Canada right now, and one of them is not warning you where you could be exposed to haram. Because this company is working with traditional mortgage brokers, those same mortgage brokers are offering their clients haram insurance as an upsell. The people who went to this company for halal mortgages are most likely thinking that whatever they're being offered is Sharia compliant. As I said, I would not mention any names in this video yet, but I have told the CEO of that company that what he needs to do is, at the very least, if he believes that there is some sort of law that states that, oh, haram insurance must be offered to clients and people are coming to you with the expectation that, you know, they're not going to be exposed to any form of haram, you should at least advise them. I was just argued against. You know, they defend themselves by saying, oh, you know, if you're offered haram insurance, you can accept it or deny it. That's fine, but you at least have to go ahead and tell people that you're offering this insurance to, this is haram. And the whole point you came to us in regards to Islamic financing is that we won't expose you to haram. Just like when you go to a halal restaurant, you just order whatever you want that's on the menu, because you don't really doubt if it's halal, because, you know, you saw the sign, you saw the certificate behind the counter. But what if the beef was haram and the chicken was halal? That would really suck. Anyways, remember, there is no such law in Canada, as far as I know, that you have to be offered haram insurance. But if there is such a law, you know, I asked proof for it and I was not given that proof. I was just argued against, and that's fine. At the very least, let your clients know that, hey, you're going to be exposed to this haram insurance. It has nothing to do with the Islamic financing product that we're offering through this such and so company. And you can go ahead and deny that. That would be best for you, inshallah, right? Because you have the option. Speaking of laws in regards to this this halal mortgage aspect, there is no law in Canada that says every type of financial deal has to have interest on it. That's how the fake halal mortgage companies basically promote themselves, and that you must sign those documents that say interest on it. That's not true. And it's very important that if you're truly trying to seek an authentic halal home financing option without any haram whatsoever or any confusion, then who you choose to work with matters greatly. Bluntly put, there aren't many honest people, and unfortunately, a lot of people lie. Differentiation between halal versus halal and halal versus interest. So there is the Murabah and the diminishing Musharakah. We know that the diminishing Musharakah is a partnership that is declining, and thus called diminishing partnership. And the Murabah is an asset purchased and sold to you at a higher price with a deferred payment plan. Very simple. But let's say you come across a halal mortgage company that is saying they offer diminishing Musharakah or Murabaha, but functionally the process is the exact same as an interest mortgage, where every 5 years you are renewing your mortgage and you take on all the risk of losses, signing documents that say interest on them. Or in the case of a different halal mortgage company these days, signing documents that don't say interest on them, but the process is the exact same thing, one-to-one, like literally word for word, it's the exact same thing. I call it the synonymous mortgage, right? The point that I'm trying to make with this section of differentiation, guys, is that you should say no to a halal mortgage when you are not sure that it's actually halal, obviously. Don't just jump at it because some guy came up to you and convinced you that it's halal, and in your mind you think that that person can never lie to me. Usually the guys that are lying to you. Let's say it is halal, right? But then you're taking on all the risk of losses and paying what's pretty much a double premium on the rate with penalties. If you're going to be paying a lot, then you should get it in terms that are more favorable to you. Just if you can get something that is more favorable to you in terms of cost or terms, bismillah. So let's say you can't avoid the fact that it's going to be expensive. Fine, I'll give everyone that benefit of the doubt because once again, Islamic financing is in its infancy stages in Canada or in most of the Western world. Well, then you should take something else in return, like the financier sharing in the risk of losses. But if you're not getting anything in return, then it's just expensive. Ridiculously, I mean. Like, it's just unaffordable for you to even get into the market. So then I would just say, hold off and say no. Authentic Islamic financing or halal mortgage, but not the right fit for you, depending on the home you're trying to buy. Now, what the heck am I saying here? Like a condominium where the value of a condo can go significantly up or down, depending on the maintenance fee cost that you have to pay to the condo corporation on a monthly basis. For example, when you bought the condo, the maintenance fee was, let's say, $400 average per unit. Something happened to the condo building, or something happened there in that condo corporation, and the maintenance fee for every single condominium unit skyrocketed to a whopping $700. That would significantly drop the overall value of your condo unit. In this case, the Murabah is not an ideal halal mortgage process that I recommend, and I did point this out in the Murabah halal mortgage video that I did for Munzil almost 2 years ago. Because the Murabah is a Islamic debt-based financing product, and you're solely responsible for the debt regardless of what may happen to the asset. A simple buy at the current price and sell to you at a higher price on a deferred payment plan, with it, like the payment is delayed. That's a Murabaha. That could work against you. Or in the case of a halal mortgage that is expensive and the terms include penalties, while another halal mortgage option is cheaper and doesn't have penalties. Yet, they're both authentic, meaning they've been reviewed by credible Islamic financing scholars and they have both been approved. However, if you were to ask the scholar which one would you prefer, they will try and dance around it. Like, some of them would be like, yeah, you know what, they're both okay for you to utilize. But then another one would say, telling you like it is, yeah, they would probably prefer one over the other. It just depends. Because there are some scholars who don't like certain halal financing options out there because they feel like it is not in the spirit of Islamic finance. Now, obviously, you would want to go for a cheaper halal mortgage option that differentiates itself well. How would you know that if you don't know this landscape? Something to think about. This requires a consultative approach and understanding of your specific situation to tell you what would be the best and right fit for you. Financing from conventional institutions. Almost all the content on my channel is always educating people to differentiate between interest mortgages, fake halal mortgages, and real halal mortgages. Being a real estate broker that is a practicing Muslim, I have seen many people end up in interest mortgages when seeking a real halal home financing option, or thinking they have one, but they don't. And one of the things I always tell people to look out for is the source of funds. It is up to the so-called halal financing company to transparently explain their source of funds being Sharia compliant. and the Sharia guidelines to the reference of those inquiring. If they say that, oh, they have an agreement with Scotiabank or any of the 5 major banks, you should be able to call Scotiabank and verify that agreement. Like, the corporate world is not some really high in the sky or pie in the sky type of place that if you were to call the customer service, they just won't understand if they offer a halal financing product. That's BS. Now, if the source of funds is not halal or not under the Sharia compliant agreements that are usually between conventional financial institutions and Islamic financial institutions, now IOFI has great guidelines for that, wallahi, then just walk away. It's not authentic and you're being scammed. Company collapsing. What happens if the Islamic financing company that you're getting a mortgage from collapses? The question points to a bunch of things other than the expected answer. For example, if the so-called Halal Mortgage company collapses, what happens to the mortgages that they have funded and currently are servicing? And if nothing happens, most likely you have a fake Halal Mortgage with any of the major banks. Yeah. If you don't already know, after getting a mortgage welcome package in the mail after closing your deal, and I'm pretty sure everybody gets a welcome package after they take possession, or something in the mail from the bank that you got your mortgage from, right? So if you thought that you got from ABC Halal Mortgage Company your Islamic financing and you're getting a welcome package from, I don't know, Scotiabank, TD, RBC or whatever, and you see your documents basically saying interest, and I'm sure you knew that beforehand, and if that wasn't enough, well, your mortgage is fake and you've just been bamboozled. Do people use that word? Bamboozled? Anyways. Now, if it's a real halal mortgage company, then they have contingencies in place and they should be able to give you an explanation on this question. Islamic financing is so young in Canada that these are normal questions, and real halal mortgage companies have prepared for these type of solutions or situations. They want to be able to give you a straightforward answer. So bottom line is this, guys. I expect all Islamic financing companies to be able to answer with clarity and transparency to their clients their legitimate concerns, considering what's already happened in 2007. Now, if a company is not going to tell you, what are their contingencies, if they're going to dance around the question, they're going to not give you a straightforward answer that, okay, what the heck is going to happen if your company falls apart? What's going to happen to all those mortgages? Honestly, my sincere advice to you then is immediately don't get anything from them. Just sit back and watch them fall apart, because most likely they don't have their stuff together. There's good things happening in this world. There's bad things happening in this world. The most we can do is educate ourselves and warn ourselves and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. That's it for this video, guys. If you're in the market looking for a halal mortgage and you want to find out behind the scenes info, you want to make sure that the process of halal mortgage is right for you and your situation and your goals, and you want to make sure that you're getting a cheaper deal than another option out there, and then kind of avoid getting buyer's remorse afterwards, feel free to email me with your phone number and we'll have a conversation regarding your halal mortgage case. Stay tuned for future upcoming videos, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my future upcoming content. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.